good when the wife is like spicy, like bossy, in charge, don't take no nonsense. For example, Jackie and Doug Christie. That's what I mean. Like everybody knows he's laid back, brush everything off. He just like, all right, babe, yeah, whatever you want. Those relationships always work. Some people look at that as like the man is a pushover, but I don't. The woman knows how to run the house. She's gonna get it done. She needs to speak to customer service if we have to. She's gonna get the price lower. It works.
Yeah, historically, those men are miserable. Full stop. Those men are absolutely miserable. They hate their lives. They figure they're stuck. They're in it, and this just makes sense. There's kids, there's responsibilities, and we're taught that this is what men are supposed to do. So before we do a deeper dive into that one, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still going strong. Still trying to do 2 a day. And I chose this video because it highlights the way we view men in relationships and what makes a functional, happy relationship. We and we're trying to be fair here. We either see when people talk to their grandparents, oh, why Big Mama stayed with him when she would say something like, I wish I never did it, or I know about his cheating, or I just did it because this is what was done. We never really talk about the other side of that conversation. And you ask grandfather, right? Hey, why'd you stay? Yeah, he was likely miserable too. He was likely unhappy too. We have this idea that happy relationships usually are when the man is in, and because we don't really see it, but it's when the man is just like the shell of himself. He only livens up when it's time to watch the game or he's out with some friends. And then, we get the prone to excess because this is the time we're away. No, if you could actually talk to a lot of those men who have a bossy, in your face, spicy wife, a lot of those men are nothing like who they used to be. They've shrunken their world because if they don't move too far out of bounds, then they won't catch the ire. She won't have something to say about what he's doing wrong. Now, we have this misconception that this is a happy marriage. They rarely ever, except there was very just one clip, and I think it made its round quickly. I think it went viral when the host, he asked the woman, it's like, is your husband happy? And she did not like that question. She's like, usually you ask if the wife's happy. He's like, yeah, but we're trying something different. Is he happy? Full stop. We never really check and see, is that man happy? Most men are settled for being content. It's hard to be happy when the life you envisioned, you are so far from it, and you're living with this fear that can all be taken away. You one bad argument and a divorce, and then you will not have the access to see your children, access to your own house. We don't give enough credence to what type of shock that is. And this isn't saying there's nothing that he did wrong with the marriage, but that threat, that guillotine kind of hangs over a lot of men's heads. And the thought that you could just come back in the whole world, what you've built, even if you built it together, but what you had a hand in the building, it suddenly changed like that. We don't give men credit for what that silent suffering, what they're going through. But it's really our fault in that respect because we were taught to be silent. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to show the emotion. But at some point in time, regardless of how we were raised, we are responsible for our outcomes. We can't continuously blame it and put it on our parents. Hey, this is how we were taught. This is what our childhood was. At certain point in time, we are the authors of our story. We are the responsible ones going forward and saying, enough is enough. I want my life to look like this. I need to start making those changes and put my life on that trajectory. So when we are silent, we become complicit. We come complicit in saying it is all right to treat us like this. And we have to get, as men, we have to get comfortable at the very first sign of these things to put your foot down and say, oh no, everything stops. Everything stops right now. This whole relationship stops right now because the way you just communicated with me, or the lack thereof, or the way you think this is going to go, we don't do that here. Sometimes we have to be ready to blow up the entire situation in order for it to get back on a healthy path. We get scared that we're going to lose access to her. We're going to ruin this relationship, but we need to full stop. We have to be willing to lose everything. Otherwise, we are condoning and condemning ourselves to a fraction of our life. And I know it's a masculine imperative. It sounds cool that men are supposed to sacrifice themselves. They're supposed to be willing to go without, to do without, to make someone happy. I think we can find a happier medium. We can provide and also provide for ourselves. Just like when we're ever talking about budgeting, getting your money right, we say step one, pay yourself first. Same thing in relationships. Same thing when it comes down to your emotional security. You have to look for yourself first because you can't pour from an empty cup. We've been trying. We've been trying for such a long time. And in a sense that we don't look after our own selves, we're not emotionally regulated as much as we can be. We find our pleasure in our productivity, but we rarely rest. Now, I think we've done amazing things with this. We've done amazing things with this quest for productivity. This channel is one of the results of that. The physique is a result of that. A book is a result of that. You know, my real estate company, all these are a result of that. But at what point do you stop and you say, what is it that I'm looking for? What is it that's going to make me happy? It's so easy for us to, when we get caught up in tying things for production, tying our happiness to production, what we're doing is we're offloading the conversation, we're offloading the mental load onto something else. We're distracting ourselves with a new goal. We do the same thing with women. We end up distracting ourselves with now being following her emotional path, trying to make sure she's happy. And then there's kids. Then we never take time to step back and say, what is it that would make you happy? That's why when we see when men get divorced and they go through that emotional journey, they actually have to now be responsible for themselves, they find themselves happier. But we can cut out that middle part. We can cut out the pain of the divorce and that process of shrinking yourself and start answering these questions early on. Ask yourself, what is it that you want? How do you want your life to look like? And start moving in that direction before we even start trying to include someone in there. That way we get a very clear, easy understanding when she's now part of your life and something is wrong. The way she talks to you, the way she moves, and you're like, the way I'm moving, what I envision, how I envision my life being, I don't have people in my life to talk to me like that. If you can't understand that, I'm just going to wish you well. This way, you get to do these things. You get to do this vetting early on, where now you haven't built an entire life with this person. It's not going to pain you to extract yourself from this entire relationship. But to the point, we do not want to continue to think that healthy relationships are ones where the man is either like we grew up watching a buffoon, the comedic relief of the relationship of the family, whose opinion is is sub to the young children. Everyone else in the house has more of a say than the father has, except those rare moments of discipline when you try to remind us of something. Besides that, it's just comedic relief. We don't want our life like that. We want to be respected and appreciated for our efforts. That's not what she's describing. That's not a lifestyle that she's describing. Until we start saying that our happiness, our opinions matter just as much as you do, and I'll say sometimes more so if this entire life is funded by me, is made possible by me, but yet I'm going to willingly give up that leverage and make myself the fourth, fifth, or sixth most important person in this house. It doesn't make sense today. And this is the small sort of revolution that's happening among men who are now asking themselves, is that the lifestyle I want to live? Walking behind you in the supermarket while you're turn around and yell and scream at me, or I have to look towards you to ask permission if I can help these ladies because they want something on the top shelf. That's not a life of a lot of men that have made something themselves and envisioned for themselves. I don't want to fall in love with someone so they could be the caretaker, so they could be my mother, so they can give me orders. I can be shrunken into myself. We're either going to have a collaboration. We're going to have a clear delineation of roles. You can understand in these areas, I'm the leader. In these areas, I don't mind being subservient to you in these areas, but it's not going to just, I'm following around you like I'm a little child. That's not what men are signing up for today for. If you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know what your thoughts about those and those videos. And of course, you listening to the sound of my voice right now. You just subscribe. We're just trying to pay the rent. I'll see you in the next one.